Good morning. Good morning. Just want to welcome you to the Generosity Network Spotlight. So, what I do is I pick certain people in the actual business community and really spend a little bit of time just talking about them and their business and how they help them. My name is Arnel Tanyag with Tanyag Company, and this Generosity Network Spotlight is just really designed just to spotlight some great people that I have in my network that operate generously. I believe if you operate generously, generosity begets generosity, and then it comes back to you. So today I got a really exciting person I want to introduce. I mean, I've known him for almost, I think, was it 20 years? I think 20 years plus.
Solid 20 years, yeah.
Yeah, his name is Brent Montella. He's with Seashore Realty. Brent, tell us a little about you and your story and how you got started.
How you doing, Arnel? Thanks for having me on here. Yeah, a little bit about my story is I'm from Chicago Heights, Illinois, outside Chicago, and I went to Western Illinois University, got my criminal justice degree, and had to do an internship to graduate from college. My sister was like, why don't you come down for a few months and do it out here in Virginia? So I did, and I never went home.
Wow.
So, I ended up getting hired by the Virginia Beach Police Department in 1995, did 15 years. I was in real estate a little bit beforehand, and here we are 20 years later.
20 years later.
Yeah.
How has your, I'm thinking about this out loud. How has you being a policeman or helped you in real estate? That's interesting.
That is a good question. And I get that a lot. Like, how do you transition from this to that? And in the end, it's a people business. You're dealing with emotions. And in both, sometimes you're dealing with money, whether it's, somebody having to get bonded out or what have you, or somebody buying a house. You're dealing with, freedom. And so really they kind of go hand in hand if you are wired like I'm wired. So it's just a people business. So it was fairly easy. And I would say, other than the physical part of it, real estate is probably, for me, I would say more stressful than police work.
Oh, okay. So what are the reasons you like the business?
That's a great question. The one thing I like about it is, just like police work, every day is different. Every day is different, and you're dealing with people. I love people. So for me, it's pretty easy. But it comes down to fluidity in my schedule, because I don't mind being interrupted. Being interrupted
that's different.
It's not a problem for me. I could give you an example. I had a listing come up in Suffolk, which is, solid 50 minutes away, and trying to work out the schedules. And we ended up doing it Saturday morning at 8 a.m. I loved it. I think some people would be like, a Saturday morning at 8? Gosh, your job sucks. I'm like, no, I'm a morning person. I love it. I'm up at 5, 6 o'clock anyway. Let's do it. And so for me, the fluidity, the changing of it, the constantly changing is great for me. And so it's easy. That's the biggest part, I think, is fluidity in my schedule, and I'm easily interruptible.
That's good. Who do you think are your ideal clients in the real estate business for you?
All of my business is referrals.
Oh, wow.
All of it. So it's coming from a past client, friend, family member. But the big part of it is that they understand my value and what I'm bringing. I have almost 2 decades of being in the business. I have a great reputation. And again, I'm very relational. So if they understand that, and I'm trustworthy, most of my Google reviews are, you can trust him.
Okay.
And so my ideal client is somebody that is okay with listening to the person that referred them, and then actually listening to what I have to say because of what I bring to the table. And a lot of that, again, is experience and my reputation and my relational skills.
That's amazing. I mean,
yeah.
I think, I think when we had that house fire, I think probably a decade ago.
Yeah.
So we had a house fire in Norfolk. I had to live with my sisters for a couple months. And so the only thing we can qualify. So we actually qualified, and my wife said, who's going to be the realtor? A ton of realtors. I said, oh, no, that's not a good thing.
No, it's not.
I
understand that.
I Yeah, I said, well, there's one I know really well that is very relational, very calm, makes you laugh. Because they say buying a house is like one of the four major stressors in life. I said, we just got out of this house fire. I got to go make some money. Living with my
Yeah.
sister, doing work, and they're like,
Yeah.
I got the guy for you, honey. She's like, what? I just called Brent. He's like, yeah, because he's calm, smiles a lot, tells some
Yeah.
jokes. You'll love him. Well, you gonna go with no. He'll take care of him. I don't. I said, doesn't mean I don't have time, but I need somebody who's I call it high level of being productive, but
Yeah.
low maintenance in the actual relationship part.
Yeah.
Because I said, I think we didn't almost close for three times, and like you're smiling, oh, we're gonna get there, we're gonna get there. So yeah, tell me we're gonna get there. I was like,
Exactly. Yeah.
because, and I think with real estate right now, with all the uncertainty going on, you got to have somebody who's very calm
Yeah.
and can make the light of the situation and keep you on pace and keep you
Sure.
positive, because it's very difficult now.
Yeah. And you want somebody that actually has a large capacity
Yeah, that's a good point.
to handle a lot at one time, or handle some different things that are going to be thrown at you.
Yeah.
And so that's something I think I bring, is I have a pretty high capacity, especially for change and keep moving forward,
No, that's a good point. Because I find out today I found out recently, a couple months, a lot of people after COVID, their capacity is like shrunk.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they get annoyed and they get really upset with people. They don't have the large capacity, especially with change. They just cannot. And, in real estate right now, I mean, if you look at everything, it's constantly changing. Didn't you tell me now it's still the same type of business? It's just a lot of more stress of stuff that you guys don't have no control over. But you say you just got to stay focus and
It's a, yeah, you just got to stay focused, knowledgeable, and you got to stay in the business. It's easy to get your license.
Yeah.
But to be successful, there's a very small percentage of agents that are going to be successful, because it seems like, oh, I just make a lot of money. I don't need to do that much. And it's much bigger than that. Once you get in the business, and you might get one or two people that'll put some trust in you being a new person. But after that, it's your reputation and your brand, who you are, what people are saying about you. That is a huge part of it that they seem to, agents it's kind of detrimental to themselves because they're not following that process. They want a lot now. And in this business, people can sense the urgency that you're trying to close.
That's correct.
And not the urgency that I actually care about this person.
That's correct.
Because once we walk into the house, I often know, and they often know, as soon as we walk into the house, there's no selling going on.
Yeah.
There's none of that going on. It is something that is just innate when you walk into a home saying, wow, I could see me here. I could see my couch there. I could see my kids playing. And because I've grown close to them, I ask a lot of questions. I'm curious, and I get a good read on people. I'm understanding what they actually like.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What they want, and what their lifestyle is, what neighborhood, what type of house. All of that kind of comes into play. And I think a lot of agents lose track of that. They're thinking commission. It's like, no, you're 20 steps ahead.
Yeah.
And so it's a crazy business.
So what do you think the problems and challenges you saw for the people who are the buyers and sellers? What problems or challenges you saw for them?
Right. I think the biggest challenge is the unknown.
Yeah,
they
true.
don't know what to expect.
That's true.
Whether it's a first-time home buyer trying to say, I don't even know where to start. Do I contact you? Do I contact a loan officer? I mean, I always tell them to call me, because I'm a resource. So I'll find people for you.
That's correct.
Come to me first.
That's correct.
And then let's work this through.
No, that's good.
Yeah, it's really big. So the unknown is big, whether it's first-time home buyer, whether it is their second or third home, because there could be a lot of time in between. A lot's happened in that time. Laws, what we can and cannot do, all kinds of things. So it's really for every part of every buyer really has to have somebody that is confident. These are the few things: that clear, concise, confident, communicate, and calm.
That's true. That's true. I
And
like that.
so the biggest problem really is just the unknown. They don't know. And they have to have somebody that enjoys the process, like myself, that understands the process, and can walk them through. So in the end, because all that matters is at the end that they're comfortable and confident.
That's pretty cool.
And that's really what it comes down to. It is a people business.
So is that your 5 C's?
Yeah, 5, 4. I guess it depends on who I'm talking to. But it really is clarity, communication, calmness, being concise, like all those things. Like I call it my C's, right? Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 5.
All right.
But it's all
share a
very
story with using your 5 C's with one of your clients.
I don't gosh, that's a good question. Let me
take some a little bit of time. I mean, I hit you up on a good one right there. 3 to 5 C's with a client.
Yeah. I could sum it up in 2 stories.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me.
I'll sum it up in 2 stories. The first one's going to be really short. The review that I got on Google was she said it was easier than buying a car.
Wow.
So, and they were first-time home buyers.
That's unique.
Yeah. So that's communication.
Yeah, that's true.
That's being calm.
That's true.
That's clarity.
That's good.
That they were understanding the process. We breeze through it.
Yeah,
I'm handling a lot of things. They don't even understand what's going on behind the scenes. Yeah. I have to deal with the agent. I'm dealing with the loan officer, the closing attorney. I'm dealing with everybody.
Yeah.
But I take on a lot of that for my clients. There's a lot of things they don't need to know or worry themselves about.
Yep.
Because I understand the process. Oh, this person's going to be like this in the beginning. And then we get to a place. I can't inundate them with a lot of noise.
That's right.
So that's kind of my simple story. The next story was I also do property management. Mm-hmm. And I had people rent a home from me for about 2 years. Mm-hmm. People were moving back. I said, well, I could help you buy a home, or I'll actually help you find one if you need to rent one. And so we got into the buying process. And as you know, in property management, there's always this kind of rift sometimes between the manager and the tenant because of all sorts of reasons.
That's correct.
What they expect should be done, not done, all these things. So sometimes it's not a good relationship.
That's
and
correct.
It was always great through the process of them being a tenant. Then I helped them buy a home. Fantastic, not far from me. But I stayed in touch with them. And since then, I had an open house last weekend. They sent somebody over to my open house because they were thinking about buying a home.
Wow.
And they've come to my client appreciation events, whether we're serving ice cream or we have Santa Claus, they bring their kids. So that all comes down to communication, clarity, being calm. Those are 2 stories I feel like brings it together. The one with the tenant, very complicated because they were tenants and then they wanted to buy a home. There's a lot going on, a lot of emotions, a lot of things you have to walk through. And then I had the first-time home buyer that says, well, it was easier than buying a car.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's really 2 different types of stories. One on one extreme and the other. Yeah. But if the 3 to 5 C's at any given time are used, I mean, it's so natural for you. You know how to use it. Yeah, and that's a powerful.
Yeah,
I look at it that's a powerful statement because you got to have all those C's right now. Because I tell you, people are having a hard time.
Yeah.
With everything going on, I mean, you're gonna go buy a house or look for a house or sell a house. You got to have those 5 C's.
Yeah, that's it.
So tell me how someone can contact you if they're interested in contacting you to use your service.
Yeah, obviously they can call me. They can email me. All social media, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. I'm on Google. I mean, I'm pretty much everywhere that you need to find an agent. So that's really it.
What's your number that you can reach out to?
757-288-8268. And my email is my name, Brent Montella @gmail.com.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
If you, here's the question is when's the best time people should call you? That's a good question.
Way in the beginning.
Okay.
Way in the beginning. If you're thinking about buying a home, that's the time to call me. Okay. I'm not going to bother you, but I'd rather get you on a plan early than you wasting a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of heartache, a lot of advice from friends, family that bought a home 30 years ago, 5 years ago, or a year ago. If you're thinking about buying or selling, give me a call early in the process. Because if you're a buyer, I can set you up in a portal. We could talk about the process. I can get you approved because oftentimes they're looking outside of their approval amount. So you want to know, how much can I afford? What's my comfort level on my payment? Whatever that is for you. Get that done early. Let me set up a portal for you. You see the homes that fit your criteria early
Yeah.
on. And then I'm not going to be all over you. You take time. I'll stay in touch because that's my job,
Yeah.
but it's not going to, there's no pressure. It's easier than buying a car.
That's true. Now, how about of a seller? What would you
Same
recommend somebody's thinking about selling? How early should they get with you?
again, early as possible. I've had sellers. I was actually going to do a post on Instagram where they were going to, hey, we're going to do all this, and then we're going to put it on the market. I said, have me come to your house first. Let me see what you think you need to do because you may not need to. That's where my experience comes in. That's the value. I don't mind going to your house and saying, okay, don't worry about that. If you want to do that, that would work. Don't worry spending all that money on that. We can get that through the negotiations and the process. So always early on, so you're not wasting time, you're not wasting money. And frankly, you're just not hearing a lot of noise
Yeah.
from people that think they know or they bought and sold a house at one time. That's really a big, even through the process of buying and selling. I just tell people, look, you were referred to me by so and so. Give me a call. Let me know if you have a question. If I didn't cover something, I want to make it very clear.
That's correct.
And I want to communicate that to you so you're comfortable. And
No,
so
that is
early and
totally
often.
correct.
Early and often.
Yeah, early and often. Yeah, that's
Early and
actually
often.
true because I think you brought a good point that things are changing so fast. You got to have somebody in the mix of stuff so they can actually consult, guide. They can actually answer all your questions right now because information now is almost like days to weeks old.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And what the market was, 6 months ago, you may not have to worry about doing that to your house because it's a buyer's market or it's a seller's market.
Yeah,
So early and often, that's always
that's
best
good.
case.
I really like that. So I created this I call the Generosity Network Spotlight because I wanted to spotlight some people who generously in my Generosity Network could go out of the way to help people in the business community, and Brent's one of those people. So
Thank you.
when you've watched this video and if this resonates with you, his 5 C's, how calm he is, and you're thinking about selling and thinking about buying, he's the guy I'd highly recommend because he's got a unique quality that helps people really do really well in the real estate transaction business, especially with all the uncertainty and all the noise you get. When we have so much access to information, it's more noise than more information to give you an informed decision to make decisions. A lot of times I always tell people, just go hire the expert.
That's it.
I mean, that's their job. Their job is to help you take the noise, present to you, look at your goals, help you make decisions. And that's what Brett does. And he does it always with a smile, and does it with calmness. But most importantly, the dude can make you laugh, man. If you can make people laugh during a transaction, oh my
That's
God,
it.
it's gonna be fun. Because I think you got to be fun with people today, especially to
Yeah.
throw off
Yeah.
that edge. And then the edge ain't what you're creating, is the edge everybody has on trying to survive.
That's it. Yeah.
And so I think if you need his service, just reach out to him or reach out to me. I'll make the connection. And Brett, I really appreciate you to be on this thing. This is awesome.
Oh, of course. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, man. You made a huge impact in my business as a coach, especially in the early days. But even still now, I mean, you have a wealth of knowledge, and you really understand people, and you catch on quickly of what they need, want, and that kind of thing. I still remember the time I always came to you with these ideas. Hey, Arnel, I think I'm going to do this. It would work. Like, this is really good. Or I should do this. And you're like, Brent, that's not you. I said, yeah, but I know this would work. Like, I think I could get business from doing this. And you're like, but that's not you, Brent. Like, you understood me.
Yeah.
So I didn't waste time, just like with my clients. Like, get in touch with me early.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste your time. You're going to keep me focused. You're going to keep me in my lane. That was a big part of it too. You made sure I stayed in my lane and true to who I am. And that's been a big part of my success, is me staying in my lane, exactly who I am in this business. And it's been wonderful. So kudos to you. And I appreciate you very much.
No, I appreciate you. So again, hey, thanks for watching the Generosity Network Spotlight. Thanks for Brett for being here. If you're interested in talking to him, reach out to him directly. You can find him. He's got some great videos on Instagram. You can reach out to me and make the connection. Again,
No mission is impossible, Arnel.
Oh, yeah. I got to watch those. Those are pretty cool.
Watch that video. Yeah.
Again, hey, this is Arnel Tanyag with Tanyag Company. Thanks for watching, and you guys have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks, Arnel.
You're welcome.